Boone. Boone was a good companion.
What makes him a good companion?
I mean, he's got a compelling backstory as a veteran ranger with the NCR whose wife was taken and forced into slavery. He's got a solid weapon he's well versed with, a dope outfit, and what's not to love, he even spots NPCs for the player. Before he'll consider leaving town with the player, you must first help him uncover who's responsible for his wife's kidnapping. After traveling with you for a while, he may begin to open up and allow you further insight to his past and ask you for help. And if you succeed in the mission, he even gets a dope armor upgrade.
He sounds awesome, and he's from your favorite game.
Yeah.
But what about Fallout 4? Who's the best? Wait, hold, no. Who's the worst companion in Fallout 4?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Where are we? What happened?
Welcome to Camp Navarro. You are out of uniform, soldier. Where is your power armor?
Yeah, pause. Hold on. Hey, editor, run that back a little bit, will you? She's a child. That's not happening. Dress her up a little bit, too. Thank you. Editor? I can't pay anyone for this. I don't even get paid for this yet. Great use of that bachelor, loser. Now get back to work. Before we had the sex symbol that is the Fallout TV show Ghoul, we had Hancock, a favorite among the Ghoul community and the only romanceable Ghoul in the series.
The what?
Weapons of choice are a double-barrel shotgun and a combat knife, so I mean he's not great in combat, but he's not hard to make like you. But you do have to complete a fairly long, mostly uninteresting quest to unlock him as a companion. And with enough time, he'll unlock Isodoped, his companion perk which trades 25% of your overall health to 20% faster crits. He's actually the younger brother of Mayor McDonough in Diamond City and had a decent relationship with him until out of nowhere, Mayor McDonough started a hate movement against ghouls and showed no remorse to his brother. Hancock knew something was up and made the obvious connection to synth replacement that runs rampant in Diamond City.
That sounds like a really interesting backstory.
It is, and it goes a bit deeper, but sadly it doesn't lead anywhere except drug addiction. I give him a 5 out of 10 primarily for his backstory and the potential he had to be so much greater. Preston leads the Commonwealth do-gooder group known as the Minutemen after being driven out of Quincy by the Gunners. We meet the few remaining survivors pinned down to the last room of the Museum of Freedom. As soon as you meet him, he begs for help and he's clearly outnumbered. But in this moment, the cracks really begin to show. The guy is equipped with one of, if not the worst weapon in Fallout 4, making him utterly useless in combat. His only perk is that he can sometimes be a distraction from the enemies until he inevitably gets surrounded and down by more competent foes.
He sounds pretty useless.
In one 30-second conversation, he'll name you the leader of the Minutemen and then appoint you another meaningless quest, reinforcing his incompetence. I cannot grant him any higher than a 3 out of 10 for his trench coat get-up alone. This hulking mass of muscle is great in a fight, but a nightmare to travel with as he constantly Sarah Morgans the player for doing basic in-game tasks like lockpicking and resource gathering. Berserk, Strong's unlockable perk, grants 20% bonus melee damage if your health falls below 25%.
Yeah, that sounds decent.
The perk isn't bad by any means, but not worth the intentional chore of gaining his affinity. You'd think based off of his constant dialogue, he would have a quest tied to the milk of human kindness. However, Strong is one of the many seemingly half-baked ideas and a mind-numbingly obnoxious hater. He also uses a pipe rifle when not in melee range, so I mean, that sucks too. 3 out of 10, he has some potential for a very unique super mutant like we've seen in non-Bethesda Game Studios Fallout games, but really lacking in most aspects here. A raider junkie, cage fighting, and killing to fuel her fit.
Okay then?
Yeah, I mean, we're not off to a great start, but if you dig a little deeper, she has a really compelling backstory. She comes from a physically and mentally abusive home and was sold into slavery on her 18th birthday by her parents.
Why is Fallout so dark?
My child, we're just scratching the surface. She doesn't have great weaponry, but she's great up close and comes with the added benefit of being able to pick locks for you, which is great at lower levels and just breaking up monotony. She also grants you 20% faster AP regen below 25% health.
That's pretty useful.
So she has a great backstory, great character development. She's not overly obnoxious, unless you use chems. She may very well be one of the best characters Bethesda's ever written, but I've never heard 90% of her lore until working on this presentation. While we could continue on about her lore for at least another 30 minutes, class is gonna be over before then. I suggest you look into her on your own time. Deacon is a bit of a mixed bag. He's a shapeshifter, always getting facial reconstruction that never be identifiable. With this comes the changes to his aesthetics by way of armor, and he's also decent with his rifle. He even has a bit of a sense of humor and some decent combat lines, but I mean, he's not perfect. His secrecy and shady nature make it hard to believe much of what he says, and worst of all, you have to side with the robot-loving weirdos. I think I've literally only traveled with this guy one time. 4 out of 10. Ah yes, everyone's favorite canine pal.
There he is. Who's a good boy?
He doesn't judge the player no matter what they do. He carries around half an army's worth of weapons. He distracts enemies. Can be directly upgraded via the perk menu, and is really a series icon at this point. I'd give him a solid 9 out of 10 for aligning with any playstyle and never judging the player no matter what they do. Okay, 10 out of 10. Yeah, a lot of people forget about poor Longfellow. I mean, for good reason. You get access to him in Far Harbor.
Oh, great DLC.
But if you want the best story experience possible, you have to take one of the base game companions, pretty much eliminating Longfellow from conversation. He doesn't have as interesting of a backstory compared to many companions either. He's just a scruffy old drunkard who makes a living by guiding and protecting people through the fog. He's generally good company as he sings some traditional Irish songs, quotes some lines from a couple poems, and then grants the player a perk for exploring Far Harbor. He also has one of the best combos of armor and weapon of any companion. But I can't give him more than a flat 5. He's a fairly useful ally, but lacking any unique character background or development. The Force companion from the main game with the mind of a pre-war detective. Trenchcoat, fedora, and pipe revolver.
What?
Yeah, one of the most interesting surface level companions gets one of the worst weapons in game. This seems to be a common trend of Nick having greatly contrasting aspects as a companion. He has one of the most interesting quests and should have an incredible backstory, but really, he just has a high luck stat. Him and his brother escaped the Institute. He suffered memory loss, was knocked out, woke up sometime later, stumbled upon Diamond City, then stumbled upon a girl getting kidnapped, and saved her by acting like a bomb was inside of him and saying the word beep, 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 which led to him becoming the coveted private eye of Diamond City.
What?
Exactly. Yet another mixed bag of nonsense, but spending time with him beats most of the other companions. I'm being a bit generous here, but as far as the choices provided in this game, he's an 8 out of 10. Yes?
Can we please do another female companion?
Okay, human or robot?
Robot.
How about Ada? Ada is the lone survivor of a Roman caravan of humans and their robot companions. You gain access to her at level 15 when the DLC initiates, and that's where things get a little bit tricky to rank. She's not very well equipped to begin with, but after completing the DLC and unlocking the robot workshop, you can go full mad scientist on her. This stands for all the robotic companions of the game, so for simplicity's sake, we're only going to consider base game Codsworth, Ada, and later Curie for this list. While it's awesome to create an invincible nuke launching tank with a lockpicking buff, it doesn't really fit the theme of the list. Aside from a bit of lore after you meet her and go through the DLC, Ada really doesn't have that much character or care what you do in game. Her base form gets a 5 out of 10 strictly for being an unbiased pack mule with ranged weapons. This power armor wearing, laser rifle toting, Brotherhood Paladin, and right hand man to Maxing.
Should be fun.
He's a synth.
There it is.
Yeah, he tells his story as a orphan grown trade and scavenger in Rivet City who joined the Brotherhood with a friend of his to be more. During the assault on Adams Air Force Base, Danse makes the call to mercy kill his longtime friend after coming into contact with FEV and being mutated into a super mutant. This caused the pure hatred towards super mutant Danse is known for. But I mean, it's not all an unintentional lie. The Institute has him listed as escaped, and it's believed that Harkness or someone in the railroad helped wipe his mind and move him from the capital wasteland. His power armor makes him tanky, his laser rifle is decent, but I find his size to be a bit of a nuisance more than an asset. Another 5 out of 10. It blew my mind to see this kid all grown up, and even more so to see what they did with his story. After leaving Little Lamplight, MacCready eventually gained a wife and son. While doing mercenary work, he lied to his wife about. One night, while camping in a seemingly abandoned metro, they were swarmed by feral ghouls. He wasn't able to grab his rifle by the time his wife was already swarmed. He was forced to just grab his son and run. Robert promised his son he would do better and clean up his act of constant cussing and contract killing. Sometime later, his son began growing blue boils across his body, leading to MacCready traveling across the waste in search of a cure. He briefly joined the Gunners for some caps, but left due to realizing how terrible of people they are. This led to the player meeting him in the third rail, cornered by 2 Gunners who didn't like deserters. By no means is he a bad companion, it's just odd to see a completely different character than we met in Fallout 3. I guess life has a way of changing people.
Yeah, I like this guy. He really cares for his kid.
Oh, I almost forgot. He has a really nice hunting rifle and grants the player 20% better headshot chance in VATS. Solid 7 out of 10. Next up, we have Curie, or the Contagion's Vulnerability Robotic Infirmary Engineer. Curie is to Vault 81 while Gears Fan is to Raw Tactics YouTube channel. She was modified from a traditional Miss Nanny to a French lab assistant who holds the knowledge of past failures and successes of the scientists of Vault 81 who were attempting to create a universal disease cure. While interesting, she's naive to the rest of the world, which makes her a bit of a nuisance to travel with, as she constantly wonders, is that guy pointing a rifle at me friendly? Maybe they're not hostile. She also has a nice perk that basically stimpacks the player if they fall below 10% health once per day. One thing that greatly stands out about her is her quest that transfers her AI into a synth, which the player can then roll 6 out of 10. This guy right here is the single most uninteresting companion in my opinion, and that's saying a lot. I mean, he's an Institute courser.
You mean the really powerful soldiers with built-in stealth boys?
That is correct, and as much as the Institute wants you to believe that they're for the betterment of humanity, this guy is the biggest douche in the game. Here's a list of things he hates: helping others, nudity, entering Diamond City, birds, chem addiction, firing the artillery from the castle, complimenting Magnolia, joining the Minutemen, and just more morally sound decisions.
Yeah, that's all I need to know.
Solid 2 out of 10. He's a good fighter, but a terrible creation. Comes to the final woman of the group. This is Piper. She's a
Devious, rabble-rousing slanderer.
journalist from Diamond City. When you first meet her, she uses you as an excuse to gain access back into Diamond City after being shunned for writing an impolite article about the town's mayor. She has a useless weapon. She doesn't like picking locks or sticky fingers. And really, I just get tired of her voice. I mean, I'll give her some limited credit for taking on the role of provider for her sister, but really they only got by due to the generosity of others. 4 out of 10. Ah, yes, the Robot Butler, assigned tutorial guide. I mean, there's not really much to cover here. It's a Mr. Handy that's been trimming hedges in the same spot for 200 years. So what else is to say? 2 out of 10. He grew up in a village watching his parents be constantly beaten and robbed until age 12 when he ran away to trying to find a better life elsewhere. However, raiders seemed to be all over the waste and he saw countless people harmed, abused, and killed.
So what did he do? Join a stronger faction and kill them?
He joined them.
I'm so done with this game.
I mean, his perk is great though. Plus 5% bonus XP per kill and plus 10 damage resistance. He also has unarguably the best weapon of any companion, and he has an eye patch. Aside from that, he's just a pretty stereotypical raider persona and favors the bad and illegal aspects of life. 6 out of 10. Well, I think that is everyone.
So you think the Courser is the worst and Dogmeat is the best companion in the game?
No.
But you...
I ranked them based off of what we established as essential for any good companion. I mean, frankly, both are wrong. Dogmeat has grown to be my arch nemesis. We've witnessed countless attempts on my life. I am luring enemies directly into me, attempting to knock me off high buildings, getting in my way every time I try to loot a corpse or container, blocking my path, and so many consistent issues I could continue on for hours.
You really think Dogmeat's the worst?
Yes. Hey, story time. So, Dogmeat has been the bane of my existence for years, and regular viewers know this all too well, but things are a bit different now. See, a couple weeks before Fallout London dropped, we started streaming a one-life survival run in Fallout 4 with all the odds stacked against me. I'm talking locational damage, one-shot headshots, bleeding, and of course, a zombie apocalypse. And we have died multiple times leading up to this point, until we finally made it to Fort Hagen. Almost died, and then...
Oh, Nick!
Oh my god. Oh my god, bro.
What an idiot.
Yeah, whatever. Go bring me your paper then. I quit. There's a lot more that we could say about each one of these companions, but I tried to shorten it as much as possible for multiple reasons. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it at least a little bit. If you did, please consider hitting that like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you want to support the channel further, check the description below or come hang out with us during Fallout London streams with the new super chats. Either way, thank you all for being here. Thanks for making it this far in the video. Thank you for 800 subs. I hope to see each of you again sometime soon. I'm out.